Welcome back. You're still tuned into ET Now, and let's now put the spotlight on Apollo Micro. This counter has reported very strong set of numbers for the fourth quarter. Revenues have seen an uptick of 82% on a year-on-year basis, and EBITDA too has seen a strong jump up of 91%. So what led to this, and whether this is sustainable or not? To get answers to these questions, we now have the whole-time director of the company of Apollo Microsystems, Adapalli Krishna Sai Kumar, who is now joining us. Thank you for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. And first up, we have to talk about the significant surge in numbers that you have reported in the fourth quarter for both revenue and EBITDA. How sustainable is this, and what drivers will ensure that this trend will likely continue in FY27 as well?
Yeah, so we have been quite vocal that there are a lot of production orders that are kicking in year-on-year basis actually. So most of our revenue gets recorded with the development and combination of development and production projects. And as the pure production projects kicks in, there is a little improvement and spread in the margin levels at the EBITDA level. So that's how you're witnessing all this increase in the margin rates and over the entire spread, both on the EBITDA level as well as on the PAT levels. This is something which would be sustainable going forward. We are expecting much more large cap production orders. This is definitely sustainable.
Right. Also, sir, are there any concerns around the consolidated financial performance due to the IDL's current negative EBITDA? When does the management anticipate any recovery?
It will take a couple of more quarters, for the recovery to happen in ideal. But it's presently undergoing transformation phase. The numbers are pretty strong and good, compared to the previous, quarters of ideal. After we have completed the takeover on 15th November, we have started making, organizational changes, and various other process changes, improving the, profitability and, and also to improving the top lines. That is something that you will start witnessing from Q2 onwards. But it's not something a very serious concern for us very immediately, because it's a strategical, acquisition that we have done as a backward integration for us. I think going forward, the numbers of Ideal would definitely support the overall system of, on the consolidated basis.
And Mr. Kumar, do you anticipate EBITDA margin stabilizing at the current 22-23% mark, or is there room for more expansion as the product mix shifts as we head into the next few quarters?
No, as the product mix shifts, definitely there will be room for expansion. Continuously we, are developing new products, entering new areas, new programs. So definitely the products mix keeps changing. There's no fixed product that, we deliver year on year basis. We are part of several programs, several indigenous programs. Rather, I would say, we are part of every indigenous missile program of the country. So the product mix keeps changing, on the revenue which gets recorded on year-on-year basis. Definitely, there is based on the different product mix, there will be a shift in the overall this thing. But the momentum with which we are carrying on, that is something which is going to continue further as well.
Mr. Kumar, can you also throw some light on the new order pipeline and the revenue realization timeline of the current 1,400 crore order book?
So current order book stands little over 1,400 crores, as of 31st March. As far as the new order pipeline is concerned, the pipeline is very, very strong and robust. There's nothing like, I have to attribute any number to it as of now, because the funnel is very strong. A lot of programs, direct orders we are expecting from the Ministry of Defense. And also there are several orders which large cap, system integrators, have already received the orders. And as we have our presence as a tier 2, tier 3 supplier on various programs, we keep getting in a different time intervals actually. So that way, the size of the, entire pipeline is pretty large. And the momentum with, the kind of guidance that I'm giving, that, we are going to continue the momentum, is purely based on the already existing orders that are already available with my customers, both in the PSU side and as well as the private company side, and also DRDO, where things are already in production phase actually.
And Mr. Kumar, are there any supply chain bottlenecks for critical components that could delay these deliveries in the next few quarters?
Very immediately, nothing, no supply bottlenecks are there, but as and when something comes up, also, there's something that is an addressable issues actually. Being a technology developer by ourselves, not just, any production agency or something like that. If there is any bottleneck with any specific component or any specific item, we have a liberty to, make necessary changes. Only the timelines of which would, make a small shift, but otherwise, very immediately, serious concern issues are actually not there.
Right, Mr. Kumar, also we believe that the certain capacity expansion plans are underway. Can you give us an update on your facility expansion plans, and can you throw some light on the revenue growth guidance as well?
Yeah. So the expansion plan for our Unit 3 facility is going, aggressively. We should be, taking position for each, means the engineering services will move first, then the other departments will start moving one after the other. I think by June, July, August, I think, we'll start taking full position for the phase one. Phase two civil construction is underway, which will be completed in next 1.5 months time. Then we will get into all the MEP and other works. Phase three is also started the land development. Altogether in this financial year, the entire 10.6 acre land with the 5.5 lakh to 6 lakh square feet facility, for an end-to-end manufacturing of both system, subsystem, and complete platforms will be ready, up and ready for the customers actually. And as far as the guidance is concerned, we are going to maintain the same momentum of growth that we have been demonstrating till now. And we are expecting some large cap orders, as and when they keep coming, I will reset the guidance and give a better guidance, just based on the timing as and when it keeps hitting, we will keep changing the guidance, from time to time on an upscale basis.
So that's as far as the guidance is concerned. But Mr. Kumar, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here in ET Now, and all the very best for the upcoming quarters. Thanks so much for joining us today. But let's also